bikes, road riding on the SMCR. Enduros are over there. Better get stuck in. Well, there we go. Quick briefing on how the bike works. Very interesting with the traction control. Really looking forward to playing with the traction control, cornering ABS, cornering traction control when in mode 1. When in mode 2, you know, you've still got traction control, but it turns off the cornering element. So, yeah, I'm really excited to try this out. A little bit nervous. I'm no off-road king by any means, so this would be a good test of the bike. Can it flatter a novice off-road rider like me? So, let's find out. First things first, can I get my leg over? Yes, I can. Just. It does feel, compared to my 500 XC, obviously there's a lot more weight there. 145 kilos. So mode 1 for road, basically, when you're on the road, because then you get the full cornering ABS, the full cornering traction control. Mode 2 when you go off-road, which will turn off the cornering elements. So we're heading out into these Portuguese hills. There's a bit of beach riding, a bit of everything really by the sound of it. There's some quite deep sand, there's a small technical section, but it's not too bad apparently. It's novice-ish friendly. Tuned slightly different to the Supermoto model. You know, this is tuned for a bit more bottom ends, less top ends. It does seem to have a quick shifter as well. Yeah, it's got the quick shifter. Nice. Blipper, yeah, and the blipper, which seems pretty darn smooth actually. Let's try standing up on it. Yeah, it feels nice stood up. Where's the rear brake? Rear brake is right there. I like that. It's got so much torque though. This has also got the the dongle which turns off the rear ABS. So we've got no ABS on the rear and only ABS on the front. We're in mode 2 at the moment, which is the off-road mode actually, so we should be able to do a wheelie. Yeah, it will come up. I love the torque. Torque delivery is fantastic. Torque-wise, it makes my 500 XC seem really weak. Pulls much stronger than that does. It's a little bit flat, the very bottom of the rev range, but that is, yeah, that's just a Euro 4 thing. They're always a little bit snatchy at the bottom. These are the sorts of roads this thing's good for, isn't it? Gravelly, hard packed. That traction control just coming in a little bit there, fancy. Lets you have a bit of fun without worrying about ending up on your arse. Let's just watch the what side of the road you're on. They said these lanes are going to be very, very quiet, but then you may find yourself in the front of a Land Cruiser coming around the corner if you're not careful. Same amount of suspension travel as the XE range, 255mm of travel, whereas the Supermoto version has 215mm, I believe. I'll flash up on the screen if I've got that wrong. Look at this scenery. Look at this, incredible. Look the back way. This is where the, you know, if you've got lanes like this bike absolutely makes sense. try standing up for a little bit on these. Look at this terrain. This is fantastic. It's actually really, really nice to think you've got ABS and you've got traction control, especially when you're a novice like me. That really gives you that little bit of comfort blanket. And the bike will actually look after you if things do go pear-shaped. I was expecting it to spin a bit more then, dug in. Oh. Yeah, there's the odd false neutral. My 701 used to suffer from false neutrals. I mean, this isn't really the terrain to be using quick shifters anyway, let's be honest. You're going to find false neutrals if you're not making very precise gear shifts. It's an interesting one as where does this bike fit in? Because obviously if you want something just to do lanes on, then of course there's the EXE Enduro range, which are much lighter than this, 30 kilos lighter than one of these. So what is this bike about? This bike is really, if you want a bike to do everything, if you've got an EXE, that can't be your only bike. It's not practical. Service intervals, maintenance, it's impossible. This, you could ride to work on this, you could commute on this at the weekend, come blatting down these sort of lanes. I think, off-road, this is a really, really versatile bike. Woohoo! Now I don't know where we're going. What are we doing now? 120, well I guess this is about 70. Absolutely cruising at 70. No problem at all. Ooh, it's just where you want to go road mode now, and I can have the beauty of cornering ABS. So if you just shut the throttle, there we go, mode 1, which will give me lean it, it's will be cornering ABS, all of those road safety features. Incredible. We'll talk about off-road again now, so let's go off-road mode. Oh, I love that. First little taster.
Just right out coming.
Look it out. Oh man, this is through the water. I just got soaked going through the first time. Didn't have the camera and I thought I'd hit it quite fast for the photos. And yeah, didn't really work. Just ended up getting soaked. And I think the picture is just a load of water. What's this rubbish? Oh, rubbish. So rubbish. That's enough going through water. Jesus, I'm going to be freezing. It's not that warm now. It's only 8 o'clock in the morning, half 8 in the morning. I'll be freezing my tadges off at this rate. The steering knot, I'm pleased to say, is much improved over the old model. The old one really suffered with the poor steering knot. This is EXE standards. Let's take the goggles off before they steam up ragged. I don't need any bloody pictures anyway. Oh, I've got GoPro technical issues. I hit that water too hard. I think someone's got on the camera now and it's turning on and off, and I didn't bring a spare with me on this ride. I've got one back at the back at base, but not one with me. It's a bit of steamage on it. I'm going to leave it on, let it run, let it get hot, burn out any moisture. Well, as you saw there, I had some technical issues with the GoPro, so I thought I'd follow up the final part of the review, just as an overview with the bike, what I thought to it in the garage, so the review is complete. It's about a week and a half since that was recorded now, and so launch fever has subdued, but I still stand by what I said. I really enjoyed the Enduro R bike. Before I rode it, I thought, well, probably this bike is not going to be suitable for the UK lanes, for the UK roads, you know. If you've got roads like Portugal, big open spaces like that, long straights to really open it up and stretch its legs, then it does make more sense. But I think even in the UK there's a place for this bike. One of the most impressive things about that bike was the electronics, and unfortunately you didn't get to really see those in action, but having that ABS at the front, a couple of times on the really loose gravelly stuff, I was really pulling on the front brake. It was not like old-fashioned ABS systems where it just locks the wheel like that. It was very fine control over the wheel is the word, and that really worked off-road. It wasn't a case of, you know, this is a rubbish system. It's really tuned to work well off-road, and it does. So that was really impressive. And it was the same with the traction control. You open it up, it would let you have some spin. A couple of times you'd open it up, the back would be snaking, but as soon as it got out of line, because that bike's got an IMU, it knew and it shut it down, so you could have fun. You could pin it without worrying about it snaking and actually chucking you off the front of it. So again, those electronics really brought that package together, and for a novice like me, I was going well. I was going much, looking back at that footage, I was going much faster than I ever thought I would have done. So just that little safety blanket of those electronics, fantastic. And the fact you can then put it into road mode and then bring on the cornering aspects of that traction control and ABS, even better. Another thing I forgot to mention in the review is both the bikes, the SMCR and the Enduro, come with a USB port. You know, this bike is a road bike foremost and an Enduro bike secondly. I think it's geared more for the road. You know, the gearing on it, you can cruise at 70, 80 miles an hour. Off-road, that gearing still seemed okay. It didn't seem too high geared, even in some of the slower, more technical stuff. That gearing was okay. Perhaps if you're going to do a lot of off-road, you might want to think about putting a bigger rear sprocket on and just gearing it a bit more for the off-road environment. But I didn't find that it was over-geared off-road, and it's perfectly geared for the street, so that was another bonus for it. But the biggest thing about this bike is the service intervals. 6,000 mile service intervals. If you've come from an Enduro background and run one of these EXCs, you know these are oil changes every 15 hours. 6,000 mile service intervals, absolutely fantastic. And it's got me thinking, do I need an EXC? Should I be looking at a 690? Because what a versatile bike. And that's one of the things that's really surprised me about it. It's got such good road manners, such good off-road manners, that as a complete package for someone who wants to do both, it's a hell of an interesting prospect. But there we go, great bike, absolutely loved it. Thanks for watching the review. If you like the channel, check out my other videos. I've got all sorts of garage build stuff, other reviews, long-term reviews. I'm going to borrow a 690 Enduro for a couple of weeks from KTM and really see what it's like on the UK roads longer term, because it's all very well having a day in Portugal in the sun enjoying yourself, but how does it work on UK roads, on UK lanes? So if you want to see that, subscribe, stick around. That'll be coming within a month or so. But thanks so much guys, and appreciate your viewing as always. Cheers.
This is power level 1, which is full power. Jesus! Go! Look at this. Oh, it's there, boy. Check it, man. This thing is absolutely bonkers. It's also pretty quick. Yeah, alright. Never mind getting beat up. Give me this any day of the week. Oh,